I think we probably have quite a few more people who come in, and yet they can join us midstream. But I wanted to get going. We have a very, very busy full hour of information that we want to pass on to you. So we're going to have to do that in a quick succession. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Richard Joy. I'm the Executive Director of the Urban Land Institute, or ULI Toronto. And I'm very excited to be doing this session, which really is an opportunity for us to explain who and what we are, in hopes that many of you who are joining this call either learn something new, having participated in some parts of our organization, or perhaps you're brand new and you're looking to become part of us and part of our volunteer network. And we're very excited if that's the case, because this is a perfect moment in the year as we head into the summer and get ready for the fall season, and winter season, which is really the way our year works. That's what this session is designed for. So with that, I'm going to push through a few slides. First of all, most of you would know that the Urban Land Institute is a global organization with a large international footprint. ULI Toronto is one of the chapters. I think there are about 70 around the world. And we are second or third largest chapter with about 2,000 members in the GTA, Greater Golden Horseshoe. We exist globally and locally to drive a mission to advance the responsible use of land. And there's a lot of more detail to unpack on that, but that will kind of become clear, I think, throughout this presentation. So I'm going to keep on moving through. Some quick stats here to show you. We're in the process of wrapping up our fiscal year. So what we're showing you are the stats from last fiscal year, but in a couple of cases updated in red to show you what those numbers are looking like as we're closing out to June 30th. We've run an incredible number of events. It looks like 84 events in this past year, with an average attendance of 143 people per event. It's an incredible amount of people we are convening on a very regular basis. And you'll see some of the stats here. That rope toll is up to about 12,000 registrations, which is more than we did last year. So our registrations have been climbing in this tough economic time. Some of them are online, some of them, most of them are in person, covering a very large range of topics. And you can see a few other stats here, but maybe most importantly, we bring in a lot of volunteers, over 400 volunteers, to animate all those things that we do. Next slide. Sorry. And we do so with the support of our annual sponsors, and I'm giving them short shrift in this presentation because we have to move through quickly. But our annual sponsors we'd be nowhere without them. We rely on them and we thank them for their support. I'm also not going to do a land acknowledgement in this session as we normally would do, but we will be talking about our truth and reconciliation work in this session. This is the org chart that sort of, complicated org chart for a small organization with a very small staff team. We're about 5.5 staff, 5 full-time, 1 part-time staff, supporting a large structure of committees and initiatives. You're going to meet in this hour the people who are leading those various different committees and initiatives, and each have a tiny little bit of time to explain what they do in the past year. It gives you a little bit of a sense of what's coming in the coming year, and this is where we're inviting you to be part of us. But I'm going to start with our outgoing chair and our incoming chair. Salima Raji is wrapping up a two-year tenure. That's our pattern. Every chair of ULI has served for 2 years, and Salima is wrapping up hers and is handing the baton over to Christy Shortall. So Salima, I've only given you a couple of seconds, but over to you.
Thank you so much, Richard, and for the introduction, the kind introduction, and for the overview for the session today. First, I just want to say thank you to all of those that are joined in to learn a little bit more about ULI Toronto, to taking the time to be with us, for having the curiosity and interest to peel back the onion to understand how we're organized and how you might get more involved, or even if it's just to understand how all of that program, where all those 12,000 registrations sit within the 84 events and the 338 speakers and the rest of it. We're really grateful. This is a network that belongs to you. It is for industry, and that is the purpose that we're here to serve. And I feel so privileged to have had that opportunity over the last 2 years, particularly in this moment in our industry where it has not been an easy time, where you see this branding that we're using around meeting the moment. It was the title of this presentation, but it really is a moment. We were taking it really seriously as an organization to say, how can we, when in moments of change in industry, come closer together and actually leverage each other to be more productive in our professional work. And so ULI is exactly that. It is full of impact in our work. It is about the connections that we share with each other, and not just locally, but globally as well. And so I hope that you will see that through the slides that come. And I just thank you for being here, and thank you to the teams that gave me the opportunity to serve in this capacity for the last 2 years. And with that, I will hand it over to my colleague Christy, who will take the reins.
Thanks, Salima. Just for those that don't know, as Richard said, I'm very excited to become the chair of ULI Toronto, because it's really been an organization that has inspired me throughout my career. I started with ULI as soon as I started working. So it's been 20 plus years that I've been in some capacity or another. And it's really helped me understand the industry, strengthen connections across different sectors. And I look forward to working with our members to do just that, work and connections, spark new ideas, and really make a positive impact on our city. Salima said this is a harder time in our economy, and it's about sharing ideas, inspiring the youth, and working together that these solutions will be brought forward. And continue to see the city of Toronto and the surrounding areas that we love and call home thrive. And so I'm really excited that you've given us your time today and that you're interested in being more involved in ULI. So thank you.
Thanks, Christy. I'm going to move on now to the other 8 members of the executive. Outgoing Vice Chair Tobias Orwell from Senior Vice President of Investments at Tricon, and incoming Signa Elise, a partner at Castles Brock, and Ozzy Arwell, residential and mixed use lead at BDP Quadrangle. So Signa and Ozzy will be joining Christy as the executive alongside our treasurer, and they'll be the leadership group for the coming 2 years. I don't know if Signy and Ozzy, did you want to cut quick hello on the screen, and if Tobias, you're there, jump on as well. Ozzy, go ahead. You're on screen right now.
Oh, I am? Okay. Thanks, Richard. Just a quick hello to everybody to say I'm really excited to join Signa and Christy in this new role. Obviously leaving the Curtin Leadership Program, which is terribly sad, but it's in good hands. And I know Richard will speak to that later on, so I won't dive into that too much. But really looking forward to the role as chair for mission advancement, understanding more about the needs of our community, but also gathering information from other chairs around North America to see how that can inform the continuation of the great programming that we provide. And with that, maybe hand over to Signa.
Perfect. Yeah, I think actually Signa and Tobias are not on the call today,
no
so we'll jump into the next one. But thank you, Ozzy. Looking forward to working with you very much so in this new capacity.
Likewise.
Next up, Christine Fang-Denisov. I'm not sure who's able to be on. I hope we have one representative of each committee is what we were asking. Christian De Silva's new co-chair. Both are new co-chairs of our mighty program committee. But let me know, Alex or Christine. There's Christine. There you are. So Christine, I'm going to slide through a couple of slides that you'll just tell me next slide. But a few ways to explain who and what the program committee is all about.
Sure. And hi to everybody. Good afternoon. Really excited to be here. I've been part of the program committee for the past 2 years or so, and really excited to be moving into this co-chair role. The program committee is really working towards organizing the great content that is executed throughout the year. And we've been working really hard to foster conversations across the various disciplines that ULI connects. So you can sort of see here, whether it's people from the development industry or people from the public sector industry, we try to host a lot of these conversations to talk about topical matters that matter to the development industry. We do a lot of those in person, with the milestone kind of event being the fireside chat. But we also have a whole series of webinars that really help kind of push out content and what's really at top of mind to keep people informed about development. So some of our really great sessions have included things like student housing or other kinds of trends. And we also do a lot in terms of breaking down the policy as it changes so much in Ontario. So we're a great committee of about 30 or 40 individuals, and would really welcome anybody to join the committee, bringing different perspectives so that we can continue to curate the next year's programming and bring really what people want to hear and talk about to the forefront.
Wonderful, Christine. You did a good job of covering a lot. But this is definitely one of the big workhorse committees that people might want to become part of, driving so much of our content that you see either online or in person. And it's a great place to be part of. We're shifting now to another workhorse committee, our ULI Connect committee, which is sometimes known in the network as the YLG Young Leaders Group. But we've always called it ULI Connect. Sort of under 35 demographic is sort of like the target of much of this committee. And Matthew and Ashley are going to be speaking to this committee. And Sue Senko, who's not with us today, is the very newly incoming co-chair who will be taking over Matthew's, whose tenure is coming to an end. So Matthew and Ashley.
Great. Thanks, Richard. As Richard mentioned, we are the Connect Committee in other districts throughout ULI. It's also known as the Young Leaders Group Committee. Our attendees or our committee membership is focused on early into mid-career individuals. Our events focus on a series called Meeting the Moment, which includes a breakfast series. We do a lot of the various tours that ULI hosts. For example, some of the ones we've done include One Delisle, the North Crest YZD development lands. And it also includes our winter and summer socials, which are to see over 600 people. The summer social was held at the CIBC Square, with our 14th annual one coming up in July at the park outside space for at the CIBC Square.
I must attend event.
And the winter social was held in the Waterworks building, which was an overwhelming success. So our committee helps works with ULI staff to obviously execute these events, and it's a lot of fun. Matthew, maybe I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, not too much more to add. Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to say, as outgoing co-chair, big thank you to the ULI group and committee. It's been a great tenure, and please come out to the summer social. It's happening on July 22nd at the park at CIBC Square. So we hope to see you all there.
Wonderful. We'll keep on moving on. We're going to move on to our Women's Leadership Initiative, WLI, and maybe we could put up on screen who's representing for this committee. I know that we've got two new co-chairs, and Audrey Jacob is the co-chair on this screen that is coming to an end of her tenure. But I can see Madeline's there, and Maggie. Oh, perfect. Okay, great. So maybe I'll turn over to the two of you to speak to WLI. Again, mission impossible in the short time we've given you, but give it a go.
All good. I'll jump right in. Hi, everyone, and thanks, Richard. My name is Madeline Bradshaw, and I'm one of the co-chairs of WLI's Women's Leadership Initiative, and joined by our incoming co-chair, Maggie Desaney, partner at Arden Burles. The Women's Leadership Initiative, or WLI, as we call it, was created back in 2011 out of the vision to build a strong network for women in the real estate industry and city building. to advocate for leadership opportunities and support career growth and advancement across our industries. But over the sort of past 15 years that we have been in existence, the conversation at WLI has evolved, moving from advocating why women deserve a seat at the table to celebrating and showcasing, what we've achieved when we have that seat, and also creating opportunities for more women to excel. And so our committee is guided by a very clear mission, which is to accelerate growth, leadership, and impact of women across ULI and the real estate and city building industry. And we do this by championing pathways to leadership, fostering an inclusive professional network, and advocating for equitable opportunities. And everything that we do at WLI, from events to mentorship to thought leadership, ties back to this core mission, and it guides how we develop our programming, the topics we prioritize, the people that we spotlight, and the audiences that we aim to reach. And our chapter here in Toronto, specifically for WLI, is made up of over 40 exceptional individuals across the industry, representing a range of professional backgrounds and a range of levels of experience and career stages, which really helps us to better understand the opportunities and challenges that women in our industry are facing. And that also enables us to curate really meaningful and relevant programming for our members and for the broader ULI community, such as our championship event coming up at the end of June and our Build Your Circle small networking groups that take place throughout the year. So if any of this sounds interesting and important to you, we really encourage you to attend our events and get involved.
Hey, did you want to say a couple words?
No, everything that Maddie said exactly, and we know we're short on time today, but looking forward to working with those who are interested in joining our committee.
Well, I will just add in that because of the strength of the Toronto WLI, Women's Leadership Initiative, Toronto's chapter has, I think, the highest percentage of women. Nearly 50% of our membership are women. When we grew from being a much smaller organization to the 2,000 members we are now, that growth, I know, over 12 years, 2 to 1 were women joining ULI. WLI has been the secret for our success without any doubt, and continues to be, and continues to innovate in the programs that you put on and the approaches you have to the business model of the work that you do, that we end up migrating to the other parts of the organization. But it's a very exciting and dynamic part of ULI. So hopefully many of you will see this and see this as a great invitation to join ULI through this channel. And I see someone's putting in, we have a great event coming up with WLI. Indeed, we do. Advisory services. I don't know if Vanessa, if we've still got you, but maybe give you and Agnes an opportunity to quickly chat about this exciting committee.
Hi, everyone. I'm Agnes Kazmierczak. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Advisory Services Committee. I'll pass it on to Vanessa after, but maybe I'll just introduce the committee. But Vanessa has recently joined as co-chair. I have been co-chair for the past couple of years. The Advisory Committee works to provide technical advice to public organizations on kind of specific land use questions and problems that they might be facing. And how we do that, it's usually through focused one-day events. They're actually really kind of fun hothouse activities where we get together for one day, where we convene multidisciplinary, cross-sectional panelists from the industry to deep dive into a particular issue and then produce recommendations in the report. The couple of what we have done over the past year is the Thorncliffe Park, Canada's national arrival city, was a multidisciplinary panel that really worked to deep dive into and reconcile the infrastructure that is landing on the community and the impact that it is having. And we are currently working on, next slide.
Oh, that was all part of the Thorncliffe Park. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You could talk about some of the other exciting things.
Yeah, we are working on a new initiative and a new format for our TAPs, and it's a way to crowdsource ideas, so including more people in a shorter kind of burn time, crowdsource ideas on big city issues. such as whatever's kind of hot and going on at this particular time. It allow us to crowdsource inputs and opinions and ideas on high-profile city topics.
So creating more opportunities for our members to weigh in on their creativity around some of the land use challenges of our region, something that the committee is experimenting with. Very excited. But yeah, Valesa.
Well, thanks, Richard and Agnes, and good afternoon, everyone. Valesa Faria, very excited to be joining this committee as co-chair. What really excites me is the fact that I think about this committee as a SWAT team for city building. So that, we bring together multidisciplinary experts really focused on real world issues or problems, and we look to find solutions. So I encourage all of our innovative thinkers and those who are avid city builders to join us as we look to advance this committee. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Richard. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And your incoming co-chair. So we're looking forward to your tenure. Okay, now over to our student committee. Kendra Barkman and Matthew Kerner, neither of them are students. Actually, they're the first co-chairs of this committee that aren't students, but we did that purposely so that we were bringing professionals in our ecosystem to help bring the university and college students who are knocking on the door of our industry, giving them a little bit of a early entry into the ecosystem through ULI. And I'm really pleased with the work and the leadership that Matthew and Kendra have spoken to. I see, Matthew, you're there. So over to you for a few words.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Happy to be here. Good afternoon. So along with Kendra and Barkman at Cratio, we are the co-chairs for the student committee. And essentially,
yeah, your audio is not so great, I'm afraid, Matthew. I don't know if you could get closer, or I could take over just a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. It was I guess my headset mic wasn't working too well. So essentially we're trying to increase the awareness and the exposure of the ULI Toronto community that we've created here on the campuses of Ontario's colleges and universities, and creating pathways for student leaders to be leaders within ULI Toronto as well. Some of the ways that we're trying to accomplish that is doing more social events and getting like-minded students in the same place under the ULI umbrella. So you can look forward to attending in September our ULI student kind of social that we started last year, and we're hoping to kind of make it an annual event around the beginning of the school year every year to kind of get people together and in kind of the ULI space. Our marquee event for the year is usually in March, and that's going to be our career event, and that's essentially kind of a speed dating roundtable where we bring professionals across the spectrum into the ULI mix and let students talk to each other. And the kind of new initiatives that we're trying to start right now, you'll see in the bottom left, the Robin Partnership. We're trying to do more events in collaboration with campuses, either through student groups or faculty or like-minded staff that are willing to kind of collaborate to bring things happening on campus, but then have ULI volunteers or ULI staff be able to come into those spaces and share the information and get people more involved. Our current committee, we're having our kickoff meeting in about 2 weeks from now. If you are looking at a way to get involved, keep an eye out for the applications next year. But a word for any student that's looking to get more involved in ULI in general is that all of our committees that we've talked about today, all of their events, they usually do need volunteers. Obviously, this is kind of the point of this town hall, but it's a great avenue for any student to kind of find their way into ULI, make their introductions, and start building a community. Thank you.
So if you are a student on this call right now or know of one, you might want to draw their attention to the fact that we have a great student committee underway. So thank you, Matthew. Next slide is the Kirtner Urban Leadership Program. Ozzy, you heard earlier, maybe you come back on, but I think is Greg on this call?
Yes, I am. Afternoon, everybody.
Greg, over to you.
The Kirtner Urban Leadership Program, I'm going to say, is one of the premier offerings of ULI, ULI Toronto. I do say so myself, but it's really a mid-career multidisciplinary boot camp. If you're looking for something to get away from your day-to-day, get your head out of what you're being asked to do every day and think a little more broadly around building your leadership capacity, really. It's named after Brian Kirtner, And it's really about bringing people together and connecting around, obviously, the theme of real estate, but also, and especially embodied in last year's theme was, again, meeting the moment, taking the challenges of the day and turning them into opportunities. So we built a theme around that, and we brought in, I think we had about 40 guests, we had about 6 tours. We take you through a thought process of understanding what the issue is, but then um, unpacking ways that you can actually respond to the issue in a pragmatic and hopeful way. We also focus on your leadership capacity. We have a coach. We bring in a coach for a couple of sessions, and they kind of break you down and build you back up again in terms of your experience around what your own personal style is and your own mindset is around contributing to your organization and being a leader in your organization, both personally, professionally. So all in all, I would say great value for time spent over 8 sessions and a really great experience to meet people, but also to grow.
Yes.
And
Great
I
job.
I will thank Ozzy, the outgoing chair, and
Liz
incoming
McCarty
chair.
is coming as well. Yeah, so
Yeah.
should have mentioned that.
Great folks.
All right, on to mentorship committee, which is also seeing some leadership transition from incredible legacy work that Daniel Fielder led right up to this week's finale of the ULI mentorship committee. And Helen, who's on screen, I can see, and Eves, I'm not sure Eves on screen today, but you can see their titles and where they're from on the screen. But I will flip over to you, Helen, and Danielle.
Thank you, Richard. Hi, everyone. My name is Helen, and on behalf of Danielle, Eve, who can't make it today, and myself, we are a very small, we're a relatively smaller committee. We're about size of 10. We're a really passionate volunteer team behind, I like to think, one of the ULI chapter's most impactful programs as well. Each year, we match around 35 to about 50 mentor and mentees across the city building industry, and we really support them through a full season of programming. We've got 3 signature events, starting with a speed dating kickoff, and then we have a midpoint check-in, and then a year-end celebration. And then depending on the year, we also do some other programming such as virtual lunch and learns and also monthly meetups, which has been we've seen a lot of interesting feedback and people are engaged with it. And I'll have to say our theme for the upcoming year, I'm really excited about in meeting the moment. It's called Connected Growth, Learning, Leading, and Adapting Together. And the idea is quite simple. It's that growth isn't linear, it's relational, especially in today's market environment. Mentorship really is the bridge between somebody's potential and the progress. And we're here to help everybody build their own personal board of directors. And I think what's really special about the mentorship program is you could come back as a mentee or a mentor, and every year there's reverse mentorship that happens, and we build some really, really great relationships. And it's really not only the magic is in the matching itself, but it's also in meeting other mentee and mentor through the program. And we are recruiting now. So whether you want to be a mentor, you want to be mentored, or you want to join the committee to make it all happen, come find me afterwards, Danielle, Eve, or reach out to anybody you know that may be on the committee. We love to have you.
Danielle, did you want to say a couple words?
Other than just a deep appreciation, it is mentorship has given me so much in this committee, Richard, to you and the ULI team. Thank you so much. And Helen, I am just wishing you well. You and Eve are going to make a powerhouse team. And I think you're recruiting 2 or 3 people new for the committee this year. So please get involved. And it's a wonderful gateway to ULI. Thank you, Richard, for the opportunity, though.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, so moving on. Pathways to Inclusion. Is Christine able to join? I know there was.
Hi.
Is she there? Oh, great.
I'm here.
So,
I'm here.
Christine, take it away.
Perfect. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Christine Chia, and I've been part of the Pathways to Inclusion Steering Committee for about the last 2 years or so, and as well as in other ULI volunteer positions as well. So as a bit of background for those who aren't familiar with Pathways to Inclusion, we originally, well, I guess kind of somewhat originally started as a small group coming out of Toronto's first Pathways to Inclusion cohort. We wanted to take this initiative out of staff's hands and turn it into something that we can, as a vehicle to kind of replicate the DEI events that a small group of us saw at the LA Spring meeting several years ago. So seeing what this kind of initiative can bring to the table, we really just wanted to kind of replicate the same presence of the diversity and equity and inclusion groups in the States, and just bring that feeling back to Toronto, which is, as you all know, one of the most diverse cities in the world. So our goal is to provide BIPOC, LGBTQ, and other equity seeking individuals in GTA's real estate industry with opportunities to partake in ULI's programming. But really, above all else, we wanted to make sure that this group was able to make connections in and amongst themselves, as well as others in the real estate industry. So right now, we are currently on our second cohort and are looking to start up applications again for a third cohort in March 2027 or so. So in addition to providing PTI cohort members with complimentary registrations to certain ULI events, we also organize PTI programming exclusively for PTI members, such as a welcoming and networking dinner, leadership and executive training with Vanessa Udelman, as well as a pro forma workshop. And these are all examples from this past year. So in addition to organizing these events, the PTI steering committee also run the application and selection process for those who are applied to be part of the Pathways to Inclusion cohort. We're currently looking to, we're brainstorming new ideas for next year. I think right now the programming will look similar to what we hosted this past year, but we're really focusing on how to better engage and integrate the cohort into ULI's existing program, while also creating spaces exclusively for PTI members. So if you have any ideas or feedback or are looking to help participate or even apply, reach out to ULI Toronto. And if in terms of the application programming timing, likely that will open up in early 2027.
And just a note, thank you, Christina. Just a note that I think you mentioned it, but we are the cohort that is the current cohort will extend into next year. So we won't be starting a new cohort in these weeks and months, but we will be starting a new cohort next year, and we want to maybe start building some excitement around it because it really is a rich, low ratio kind of gateway into ULI, and also we reduce a lot of the cost barriers almost to zero to really welcome equity deserving professionals who might not feel that ULI is for them, to demonstrate that indeed it is, and in fact become very much part of our leadership. And Christine, you have been a good example of that in many capacities. So thank you. Moving on, staying in the DEI, but adding in R, we sort of coined DEIR, R for Truth and Reconciliation, to our work. We have a council of professionals, mostly who are professional in the DEI or Truth and Reconciliation space, and that has been led by Selena Young for the last 2.5+ years, and I know that you're also going to have some leadership transition coming soon too. But Selena, we're thrilled to have you represent what this body is all about.
Merci, Richard. So, Tansi, everyone. Katawashishin, wonderful to be here. As Richard said, yeah, I've been the chair for this amazing council for 2 or 3 years, been involved with ULI for maybe 4 to 5 now. As an Indigenous woman, I know I'm often the only one in these spaces, and I'm really grateful that ULI Toronto has created spaces for diverse voices, and not just on this council, right? You just heard about Pathways to Inclusion and the other opportunities provided through ULI Toronto too. The DEIR Council is really around to support ULI Toronto and our members in the areas of diversity, equity, inclusion, and reconciliation. We are a very small group of 5 advisors on the council who support the programming and approaches that ULI Toronto takes. And one of the biggest pieces of work done by ULI Toronto in partnership with Shared Path Consultation Initiative and very heavily influenced by our treaty partner, Mississaugas of the Credit. We published an amazing guide answering the call to Action 92, a guide for truth and reconciliation in corporate responsibility and land development. You can see copies of it in the pictures on this slide. It's really the first sector-specific framework in Canada that helps guide land development and real estate professionals, industry folks, on a meaningful path towards truth and reconciliation. So we hear a lot, right? Folks don't know what to do, don't know what action to take, and this guide gets you started, gives you examples on how to do this work in a meaningful way.
Perfect, Selena. Thank you. And also to say, we know that in 2026, DEI feels very different than it did in 2020. And ULI has been set up a number of workshops as recently as last week with DEI professionals and representatives of companies across the ecosystem to take stock of where we are in this moment as a way of helping us chart our leadership path going forward. And this is a very important space for us. And so if you're interested in that, in DEI or truth and reconciliation, or any comments about any of the things you've just heard in the last 2 sets of slides, please do reach out. Very, very, very interested in welcoming more people into this journey. And also another important, very significant leadership initiative of ULI that we are proud to be secretariat of, and this is the Accelerating Accessibility Coalition. And I know Linda Weichel, who's the contract staff at ULI, leading this with the co-chairs Arlie Hack and Nevin Dunn. Linda, I see you're there. I'm not sure if your co-chairs are on this call, but maybe I could give you a couple minutes to speak to the AAC.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. This initiative got off the ground in November 2022, so we're just over 3 years old. ULI Toronto is the secretariat for the coalition, and it came together to bring real estate sector developers and their partners together with accessibility leaders and people with lived experience to bring far more of a spotlight on the issue of what we're building in the way of housing and how inaccessible it is to many people in terms of abilities and ages. And so from this beginning, where we recognize that the building code only is a starting point, that we really need to be building homes that have a far greater accessibility, we've launched this coalition, and through programming and events, webinars, we've brought a lot of new information to the development community to recognize that we need to change the way we're designing housing. And we've already reached 110 members. Anyone on this webinar is welcome to join the coalition simply by sharing a statement of support on the importance of accessible housing. And we've actually branched across Canada because obviously this is not just a Toronto area issue. So we've got members from across Canada, across sectors, and we'd welcome anyone to join. We have 40 volunteers across 5 committees, and we're always looking for new people and members.
Perfect. Thank you. And this is the foundation. Watch this space. AAC has attracted tremendous amount of interest, some of it financial, a lot of it government at all levels, particularly federal, provincial. And at some point, it's going to move from ULI to another home. And for the one simple reason that we actually don't have a Canadian bank account, and that creates a whole lot of challenges for the growth of the AAC. So that we are looking at a Canadian entity in the accessibility space, and there's active conversations in that regard. And once that's formalized, that's going to be a launching pad for a lot more growth. ULI will stay very connected to the AAC always, but we think there's an opportunity that might take the AAC structurally out from under financially from under ULI. So that's an exciting update. So I'm thrilled with the leadership, Linda, that you've and the co-chairs have brought to this. It's quite incredible. And a shout out to Mitchell Cohen at Daniels, who one summer 3 years ago said, "Why aren't we doing this?" And we've come a long way since that moment. So, okay, next, a bunch of staff events to speak to. I mentioned 5.5. That's kind of rude, but one of us is a part-time staff, and the rest of us are full-time. But it's a very, very small group of staff who support what you just saw, and there's still more. Frankly, the only reason it's possible that we do so much is because of that volunteer activism. Those 400 volunteers are the reason we can do the things that we do with such a small staff team. So, but I'm grateful to the team. Laura Bellatone, who's just recently been promoted to senior associate, Manisha Kelker, I think and Faith Faith's our newest. Both have been in for I think under a year. Manisha, you're just about a year. Jenny is our all things on the back end and financials, and we'd be nowhere without Jenny. But the real star, I'm going to say, for over 20 years, started ULI Toronto when it was nothing, and has shepherded its growth all these decades later to where we are today is Alex Rybeck, and I every day I'm grateful that I work with Alex, so, and the rest of the team. So that's your staff team. So some of the other events that we organize, more as staff than volunteers, but that could change. We probably should bring more volunteers into this organizing, is our big annual trends in real estate. You can see in the top left, top right, big a gathering, a breakfast every November that is celebrating the PwC ULI annual trends report, and a great program that we build around that. Our Meet the Chief Planner dinner, biggest ever this past year, happened just a couple months ago. Also in the Royal York Hotel, we had to shift it over the years into a bigger room, which it now has sold out. So we may be looking for even more space in the future. Who knows? But that's another major milestone event of ours. The Urban Plan program. We won't spend too much time on this, but it's something that actually does involve a lot of volunteers. And we're looking to reboot it. It is limped along post-COVID. It used to be a bigger deal pre-pandemic, but it is a program that operates not just with high schools, but increasingly with career professionals, public sector. We did a version of this module. It's sort of like a Sim City, but much more complicated than that, and kind of a module that learning module that we roll out, and it's an internationally celebrated program. I butchered my explanation of Urban Plan, but more another time. We have our annual ski day, and we've this past year we joined with Spinal Cord Injury to support their ski day. So we merged the two together, and it's a nice synergy. All dollars that we raise from our end of that bargain go to them to support the work that they do to support those who have spinal cord injuries. And it's a very moving day, and we're looking forward to doing that again next year. That was just our first year that we've done it. Global connections. Over time, we do a lot of different types of programming. One of them is we have a Canada-wide we call product council, but a Canada council that brings together professionals usually once a year to do a deep dive in a different city. The next one will be Edmonton. It is a somewhat of an invite only, but if you're interested, let us know, kind of group. And they just most recently this year, as you can see with the backdrop, did their tour in Ottawa, and they're hanging out by the what do we call it? The perpetual flame. Is that what it's called? For good reason, because it was mid-February, very cold. We're moving the annual date into June, so it'll be a little warmer to check in these cities. Next slide is annual. We might mention, we maybe very much in briefly, but our big there's big conferences twice a year, different North American cities. We hosted it in 2023 and probably won't for another few years again. But this was an example of some of the photos in San Francisco this past spring. That was in the fall. The spring meeting just last month was in Nashville. There's a lot more we could tell you about these conferences, but they are enjoyed thoroughly by those who attend them, and many of them get involved in what is known as product councils. National product councils, international product councils, which are things we can talk to you about if you're interested. Just let us know. And very regularly, but occasionally, we do even more adventurous trips to usually aligned with another ULI conference internationally. In this case, it was the UK last year in London. We brought together about 20 people from Toronto, and we gave them a sort of a special itinerary, including the conference there. And the next fall meeting, Alex has reminded us here, is Miami. So by the way, so this isn't the fall meeting. This is the fall meeting. That was the fall meeting in San Francisco. The next one is in Miami in October. So you might want to check that out. ULI conference in Berlin that just happened. We didn't organize volunteers to go. We didn't organize members to go to this one, but there'll be another one next year, and we might organize to bring you there if you're interested. Summer social. So some of the upcoming events here. So I think there are two major events. One is probably getting very close to sold out. That's the WLI Championship event that was already spoken to. And that is happening at the June 24th, celebrating the next tranche of WLI champions. I think there's 10 to be celebrated each year, and this year is going to be exciting. And so if you haven't booked into that event, there might still be a few seats left. But there's lots of seats left for our summer social, which is later this year because of the World Cup. But July 22nd, middle of the summer, will be, I think, the very first event to occupy the CIBC Square Park. And that sits over top of the railway between the two CIBC Square buildings. Rain check will be inside, which is fine, but it'd be fun, very fun to be in that space. We always try to find creative spaces for our socials. And I think that takes us to the end of our slides. And I'm going to stop sharing. And
one more.
Alex?
There's one more slide, Richard. Where to find the information on how to get involved and which committees.
Okay, maybe I'll try bringing that up. Is that on the next slide? Didn't see it here, Alex.
All right.
But why don't you tell us?
Well, we'll put in the link. We'll put in the link in the chat. If we have a lot of emails going out to all of our members and non-members these days. We are in recruitment mode right now for many of our volunteers and all of our committees, hence why we've had this virtual town hall. So we will follow up with everybody that joined us today to include the link where you could sign up for our volunteer opportunities, but we can also put the link into the chat as well. You could also email us at toronto@uli.org, and we'll pick up the emails and send you information as well. So if anybody has any questions on any of our committees, our staff is more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Christy, I see you're there still. Did you want to have a last final word of welcome, and then we can sign off?
Yep. Sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself. So as Richard said, that is a lot of information. I'm sure it can feel a little overwhelming, but I think the gist of it is that there's lots of opportunity at ULI. There's lots of opportunity to get more involved. If you have a passion relative to this sector, ULI's in it. And so, as Alex said, please reach out to her. we're about to start our new calendar year. So July 1 is that time that all the committees are looking at our strategy plan and laying it out. And so it's a great time to get involved and really make an impact on the sector as well as your career. So look forward to hearing to you. And if you see me at events, please come up and introduce yourself. Always love to meet new people, especially the members of ULI. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Christy, and thank you to the rest of the management committee. Some of you still on the line here. Really, really amazing leadership that you've are bringing in the long tradition that ULI Toronto's had in our city, in our region. And yes, reiterating what Christy said, if it may seem a little overwhelming and a lot going on, but some thread in there maybe is one you'd like to pull on, and we'll help you pull that thread and get more involved. We're very, very welcoming place to be. So, okay, with all that, we get to sign off just a tiny bit early. I actually didn't think we'd squeeze it all in, but we did it. So thank you. We'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.